Alright guys, welcome to Doesn't Taste Good. I drink it.
They work really, really.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Cleats and Coffee or the Cruz Coaching Podcast. Today we have a referee, a professional referee with us, Chana. Chana, I cannot pronounce your last name. Is it
Forstall.
Forstall. That's such an easy
Forstall?
pronunciation.
Forstall?
You weren't even.
Forstall.
Yeah, it's spelled just like that.
Forstall. Forstar.
Forstall. Double L.
Forstall. Yes.
Forstall.
Not Forstall.
My bad. Okay, so we're basically here today to kind of get, to kind of talk to a referee and see what their perspective on the game is, and just to get your insight on certain things, right? So, how long have you been a ref?
So I've been refereeing for about 10 years now.
10 years. What made you want to be a ref?
It was cash in hand, easy money when I started.
Okay, fair.
Easy money, I never really took it seriously until I got out of college. Went to my first competitive refereeing event, and kind of that's when I got involved with it as a career.
Mhm.
And from them, just been climbing ever since. So this will be my first year officially as a professional referee.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I absolutely love it. As a professional referee, the games are fun. They're great to watch, and you don't have to listen to the parents on the sidelines.
That's
So, like, tell us a little bit about your journey as a ref, like from the bad experiences, the good experiences. Like, what kept you going, basically?
So when I started out, like I said, I wasn't really fully aware of the whole picture of it. I was just doing it kind of to make some easy money.
Mhm.
And then I actually really enjoyed the different aspect of the game. You know, being a player, I learned a lot more rules. I thought I knew all the rules,
Mhm.
and till you become a referee and you kind of see the game for a different perspective, it also allowed me to kind of give back to the game.
Yeah.
And I'm a competitive person, so it gave me something to do as an adult to stay competitive, to stay in shape. It challenges me, and you get to work with the team. You know, the whole crew is a team, and it just kind of gave me that same aspect I got from playing, just with like a different viewpoint.
So, like, what rule did you not know
Oh,
before you
God.
became a ref?
There's some simple ones that I didn't know, you know, like what to do. And I mean, this really only happens in like the youth games. Like, what if it's a goal kick and you kick it backwards into your own goal? Like, what is the restart for that? Do you know?
Wait. Like, you kick, like, I'm a goalkeeper. I
Mhm.
turn around and like smack the ball into my
It's
own goal.
happened, yeah.
that's actually that's a great question. This is what I think.
Own goal, right? It's an own goal, right?
I don't think you can score from that.
Mm-mm.
I think it's a indirect free kick, or
Close.
Wait,
Yeah.
or you just retake the goal kick.
So you
Oh, corner.
corner kick.
Oh, okay. I know my rules. You cannot score. Yeah.
Goalkeeper.
Mhm.
Okay. So
We're talking about rec soccer here.
Rec soccer.
Not all the way up, but
This is all the way up.
yeah.
So, like, if I'm a goalkeeper and I'm about to take a goal kick and I turn around and I slap the ball into my own goal, it is
Somehow it's a corner.
It's a corner kick.
You give
Yes.
it to the other team.
Somehow you kicked it and the wind just picks up to 100 miles an hour. It flies back in your goal. It's a corner.
Okay.
Or like from a kickoff. You can't score your own goal for
I
a
don't know if
kickoff.
this is controversial or not, but do you agree with that rule?
Do I agree with it? I'm sure there's circumstances where it seems unfair.
Like, because you were a player as well,
Right.
and your team's losing, the goalkeeper turns around, spanking the goal, and you're like, "It's a goal for us." So, like, and they say, no, it's a corner kick. You're like, what?
Right.
You just put it in the goal again. So I feel like that's a very controversial.
I think there's a lot of controversial decisions that you have to make as a referee. that I understand for kind of the fairness of the game, but I think as a player, as a competitor, you always want it to work in your favor. I think dogs, though, the whole understanding the red card situation with defenders was one that I wasn't as aware of as a player because I was an attacker and I was a very good attacker. I never got any cards. I was really nice to the referees. So I
never got any cards.
I really never got any cards. I didn't have to.
But okay, so like, do you like to give cards?
Do I like to give
You like
cards?
to give him like, he's being rude, like you just give him a card.
No, I like to stand on the sidelines and hold a flag. I don't like dealing with the drama. Just all
like,
sides or not.
Do you enjoy being the sideline ref more, or do you like being the one in the middle, or
Absolutely on the side.
On the sides?
Yes.
You get less abuse.
Yes.
Less pressure, abuse?
Well, it's too, I enjoy that part of it. I like calling off sides because it's more of a sprinting thing. And that's what I don't know why I think that's so fun. I just like running up and down the field. And then, I think the pressure of being a referee, it's the same for the assistant referees. It's just, you're just more in the spotlight. It's really all on you. And like, there's so much match control. Like, it's like babysitting. Like, you really have to control the temperature of the players. You have to have a good personality. You have to be calm in stressful situations because even though you're getting screamed at the whole time, players aren't really screaming at you. They're just intense. So you got to learn.
It's just the atmosphere of all of it. Can we talk about so you said you like being on the sideline more. How difficult is it to actually get that offside call, right? Like, are you watching the run of the forward? Are you watching the players about to pass the ball? Are you chameleon eyeing it and like splitting it?
Yeah, you're kind of cross-eyed. Like, I really wish there was like an AR simulator so people could understand, like, because the game has gotten so much faster. Like, those decisions that, I haven't reffed the MLS game, but the decisions that the MLS referees have to make is just so quick. And you have one defender running this way, an attacker running this way, and you got to wait for the ball to be kicked, and you're standing in line. So it's a lot to pay attention to, and habitually you're going to want to cheat, but you can't cheat. So, I think it's underrated what
I think that's it's very, very underrated. Like, that is... And you know what's crazy to me, especially in the Premier League, they're so good at it. Like, the trust within the ARs, the timing of it.
I feel like they get a lot of things wrong.
Actually, like, percentage-wise,
the hit rate is very, very high, Cruz. Very, very high, yeah.
I mean, now that we have VAR, that helps. I think people...
You think VAR helps? Maybe I'm just being like...
I think VAR helps. It's how it's used. It's how it's used.
Okay. Has VAR improved the game, or has it made the game I
think for the viewers, I understand how it could be kind of annoying, but I think people have to understand, like, especially like within the penalty area, handball decisions, offside decisions, like stuff that happens so quick. Like, it's almost like as the referee and the AR, you got to take a snapshot of what happens. And so there's your viewpoint of it happening full speed, but then when you see it slowed down, it almost gives you a different angle.
So like, what happens when the referee ignores the VAR? What's the point of the VAR sometimes?
It's not necessarily ignoring it. It's just you get a second opportunity to go back and see it from a different perspective.
And
at times they ignore it, though, right?
Because the regular the referee at the time, like, always has final say.
You gotta be, it's just, you have to be so confident in yourself.
Yeah.
So naturally, like, you have so much stuff going on in your ear. Like, a decision happens, you're trying to process it in your brain, but you have 6 players already screaming at you, this is a decision, this is what you should do. And then you have VAR saying, I would check that. And you have your AR kind of giving you feedback.
So here's the situation, because when you ref, there's no VAR.
Right.
Just say you're an AR, or you're on the line, and you do put your flag up, but you have this feeling like, damn, I might have got this one wrong. Like, where do we go from there?
You die on that hill. You don't put your flag up unless you're sure. That's kind of what they say. Like, if you're not sure, just don't even put it up. Like, if you're putting your flag up, it's like, I 100% know what I saw.
Is there any calls that you absolutely
regret?
Yes, I'm trying to think of some. Oh yeah, I've had some that, like, I think into the comms I've said, oh, like, that was on it.
So how many, like, in one game, what's your most amount of like red cards maybe?
red
Yes.
cards. The most amount of red cards I've seen in a game is always going to be your amateur adult league games.
Yeah, they just
come out there to kill each other.
Yeah.
There's a tournament in Oklahoma on Socktoberfest.
Mhm.
So everybody comes out there with like the big boxes of wine, and
And
they're
they-
just drinking on the sideline. It just creates like the most insane environment, and adults just like out there killing each other. And it's funny because it's usually not even like on the ball contact. It's like this guy over there who wasn't even involved in the play is over here talking smack, and then these two guys get in a fight, or like just crazy stuff.
So I know when I play, I try to like during the game, I will constantly talk the referee and stuff. I'll constantly talk to them, trying to get my way a little bit. You know
You're
what
one
I
of
mean?
those.
Huh? I'm one of those.
I don't think it ever works.
I feel like
I don't think it works because like
in your head, but
I mean you think you are
Yeah.
but like
just taking these little jibes, little
I'm thinking,
jabs.
Have you seen that? You seen that? Okay, let's keep playing. I do that at times, and sometimes I do get called. You know what I mean? Because I just want the referees to be aware that certain things are happening that they might not see. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I have it in here. Does stuff like that work, or
Okay,
do
so
you feel like it works?
maybe like I don't know how referees would feel about this. I think in some ways it kind of helps to know the player's feedback on like what their tolerance level is,
Right.
especially when you deal with two different styles of play.
Mhm.
It helps to know, okay, this team doesn't like that, or
Yeah.
this team doesn't like that. So if you're gonna get your whole team riled up, because I'm sure you don't say it quietly just to the referee, your entire team now hears that, oh, we should be upset about this call. In a way, it may persuade the referee to kind of understand what you guys are expecting out of the game, because technically we're reffing the game. We're here for the teams. So I think in a way it helps, but as long as like if you're one of those really obnoxious, annoying players who's just yelling a lot, we just already know before coming to the game that guy is probably going to get a yellow card.
So there is a bias.
Yeah, if you're that a-hole every single weekend, yeah, we talk about it.
Here's the next question, because we're all human beings, we all have like slight biases, but how as a referee are you trained to like remove that?
I think like over time, as the center referee, you learn how to deal with the pressure of outside voices, because it changes as you progress. I mean, even like at the U8 level, you're still getting a lot of outside voices. And you have to understand what the game expects, because you may call a handball differently for 8-year-olds than you would at the professional level, right? Like you kind of want to keep the flow of the game going.
Like, what would you? Because I have a hard time defining exactly what a handball is at times, because I feel like if it's intentional, it's a handball. Like he raised his hands up, it's an awkward place. If he's trying to move his hand away and it hits his hand still, I'm seeing referees call it and referees don't as well too. So like, which one is?
So it's like one of those, like we have certain criteria that you define it as, that it's hard to really put it into direct terminology.
It's not I think it's one of the things in the game where it's gray at the moment. It's not black, it's not white, and it has to. There's so many. Every handball will be different to the previous one, and that's why I think the best thing for the handball is just to continue like tweak the rule. Like the handball rule 5 years ago is completely different to what it is now.
Exactly, and I think it matters. Like we talk about proximity to goal.
How fast the ball is coming,
fast
the way you're facing. Because I've seen somebody like face their goal. They jumped up, they turned around, they blocked it, and hit his arm. They gave a handball.
Well, are you on the line blocking a shot, taking a risk, putting yourself in the way of the ball? Then it's a little bit different than standing at midfield, jumping and trying to block a cross.
Okay, so do you think handball should be treated differently regardless of where they're on the field?
Well, no. Okay, sorry to answer your question. I think it's definitely trick question there. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, it's way more intense if you're blocking a shot inside the penalty area than if we're talking about blocking a pass that's coming.
Okay.
Uh-oh, y'all are setting me up.
So wait. if the ball is going to go,
Okay.
right, and it hits your player,
Okay.
and your player humps up, right, and tries to move away, but it hits him in the arm, and it redirects the ball in the goal as well too, right? Is that a goal, or is it like not a goal because it hit his arm and it caused the goal?
Oh, it hit your teammate?
Yes, I shot the ball.
Okay.
The ball hits my teammate's arm on the way, and it redirects it into the goal.
It's a handball.
It's a handball.
Yeah, do you feel like that would be fair to call that a goal?
That's a handball, Cruz. What do you mean?
Well, it wasn't intentional.
Not intentional, but that's the other thing is it depends on if we're talking hitting a defender and going into the goal or hitting an attacker going into the
Same
goal.
thing,
So,
no?
yeah, you're right, kind of the same thing. So if it hits, well, I don't want to say 100% the
So
same
if it
thing.
hits the
But yeah,
defender,
if it hits an
it's not-
if it
it's a
hits
goal
an
kill?
attacker goes in the goal, we're most likely calling that a goal.
So if it hits the defender,
If it
it
hits
wasn't a goal.
the defender, I'm
And
going
goes
to
in
say
the-
100% of the time, and not 100% of the
Oh,
time.
that's a difficult one, man. That's a difficult one. But this is what I was going to go back to earlier about like where the handball is on the field.
Mhm.
Because if I take a shot from 25 yards out, it hits somebody's hand. Yes, I have a chance of scoring. But what if I'm playing this pass? I played my teammate in behind. They're through 1-on-1 with the goalie, but on its way there, it hit somebody's hand. I think that should be treated the exact same way as the shot block.
Right. It's similar.
Okay.
Similar.
I would just like to say, in my opinion, I would like to go back to the old school way, where only if it's intentional.
No, Cruz. No.
Okay. Only if it's intentional, or the player's hands is in an awkward place. Like it shouldn't be out here. It shouldn't be up here.
So you're saying
That's what I'm saying.
there's a clip that was kind of infamous for defining handball, and it was Neymar scoring off a header. His hands were, you could say, a natural position if you're going up to head the ball.
Yes, I was about to say that.
Was it Neymar or was it
It was the Neymar.
the Neymar one? Okay.
Yeah. And it hits his hand and goes into the goal. We're talking about
I'm going up for a header, and you think this is a natural position?
if you're here.
Yeah, if you go up and like that's what I'm saying. If I'm here and I quickly change direction, this arm is gonna end up a little bit here, and if I'm not gonna change direction with my arms like right next to my side.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think intent, Cruz. Like you can obviously say my intent was not to handball it.
Right. And I think they changed it.
So I think if your arms are like this and it hits you, I don't think it's ever a handball.
Well, and they tried to kind of help defenders from having to defend like this,
Yeah.
right?
If your arms are here and it hits your hand, hey, what do you want me to do?
Defenders, they should be
No, Cruz.
gonna run like
That's
this?
unnatural, Cruz.
You gonna run like this?
in the box. If you see somebody that's shooting the ball, I would do this at times.
I would never do
That's
that, bro.
fair.
I do
You're a lot safer doing it.
Yeah. So that
Interesting.
I make sure I don't see my handball. But
Okay.
I think the worst call that I have gotten, and I mean, it caused a last minute penalty. Let's see what happened. My teammate was trying to win the ball off a corner kick, right?
Uh-huh.
And the ball bounced off of him, and my hands are here, and the ball hits me here.
And then you finish.
The referee called an instant penalty.
Penalty.
I'm like,
No.
You were defending?
what?
Ah.
Honestly, I didn't even realize it hit my hand.
That's right.
That's a tough call,
Wow.
right?
That's I
My
mean,
hands are down here. I'm down here.
Tough
Hit on
one.
my bottom.
I would have to see it because sometimes adult leagues, y'all's reenactment, they're like, well, my hands are here. And they're like really like waving.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like a handball, but you got to give some referees.
This is also what I feel like. I feel like there are certain rules that aren't even enforced that are there. Like, have you ever seen a referee blow the whistle when a goalie's taking too long to kick the ball? You never see that happen. But goalies take 10. What is it? What is the time?
It's probably
6 seconds.
right?
Yeah.
That never happens, right?
Right.
I've never seen a referee blow the
I've
whistle
happened a couple times.
for taking too long.
But it's very rare.
It's so lax. It's a
That's
very relaxed
interesting
rule.
because I see it happen plenty, but you're right. It's not exactly like as soon as you pick it up, we're going to count 6 seconds.
Yeah, nobody is. And you know what? If you play, this is bad, but if you play FIFA, you could probably take 10 seconds too.
No, in FIFA they'll
No,
because they have the timer.
Yeah, they actually count 6, and then after that, no, they leave it for like a while, and then after that, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 afterwards. You know what I mean? So it's still like really long. Period.
Yeah, maybe they should change the time.
Here's a question for both of you. I want Coach Cruz to answer first.
Okay.
And it's like a little quiz, but what is the criteria for a indirect free kick to be given?
Indirect free kick.
What has to happen for it to be an indirect free kick?
A back pass.
Okay.
A back pass. If your teammate passes the ball back,
Goalie picks it up.
Picks it up. So indirect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there another reason? Is there another way?
There's some other reasons.
I'm interested to hear it.
I'm wondering like what you're getting at.
No, it was the back pass.
Oh, the back pass, right?
Yeah, the back pass.
Like, I don't know, but do referees ever like? Well, there was the situation with the referee. I think we were just speaking about it just now. And I'm talking about
Yeah. Got the name of the referee.
is it the referee's responsibility only to uphold the standard of the game?
The integrity of the game.
You mean like just the center referee, or are you saying the whole crew?
I mean, I'm talking about everybody, the players, the coaches, the refs. Like, because I feel like some people feel like that standard is supposed to only be upheld by the referees. And I
Yeah.
don't think so. I think everybody has to uphold it.
I would agree. I think that, the players, our college coach always taught us kind of like she was very vocal during the game and would kind of teach you how to fairly impact the game with using your voice or taking quick restarts, like simple ways to kind of manage the game. But at the same time, I think players and coaches mainly have a huge responsibility. Coaches especially, because they're the ones that can calm their teammates down.
I agree with that. I think coaches do need to take more responsibility of actually like siding with referees. But I don't know. I feel like the players are there to play. The players are there to win. Whereas the ref is there to uphold the fairness and the integrity of the game.
So
Right. I just think if you want to have a fairly officiated game, you do yourself a favor by making the referee's job easy.
Yeah.
have you ever had a game that has went out of control?
Every adult league game.
Every
That's
single-
like,
It can't be everyone.
okay, maybe not every single one
I
of
want you
them.
to ref you one day.
No. Try to stay your friend.
Okay, so for this conversation now.
I had it was at ECNL U17 boys. I had a mom who didn't like an offsides call, and she smacked my AR
Really?
in the head with an umbrella.
No.
Crazy lady. People just lose
That
their
is
mind.
crazy.
And this
That's
was
insane.
16. I'm like, lady, you can't abuse 16-year-olds. That's 16-year-old.
I've seen worse.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen worse.
I've been in worse than that, actually.
I've seen because I've seen that at a U8.
I was gonna say U12. U12 boys
boys.
have traumatized me.
I think
Traumatized.
Literally.
I've been a coach as well, and there's a lot of times I have to tell parents hey, you gotta go to your car.
Mhm.
You can't control
Time
this.
out,
You
yeah.
gotta go to your
Mhm.
car.
It's
Because,
it's
the
a big
referees
thing
got
in
abused, man.
Texas. I feel too. Texas soccer is so competitive.
Ooh, I've seen some on I think it's the North Texas
Soccer page, yeah.
the soccer page.
Oh,
I've seen
Not gonna
Fights.
call out any clubs.
fights
but-
and oh man, it gets kind of wild. Now, so you just became a professional coach, right? Where do you see this taking you now?
Going to now. To be honest, I have really just told myself to enjoy every game and every moment.
Mhm.
I don't think there is a ceiling for where I can go, but
Okay. But you have to have some kind of goal vision that I want to ref this.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. Like, I just like the game. So, like, doing any kind of like Open Cup game, getting to see international teams, like, I'm looking forward to that. A World Cup would be really cool.
That would be.
But like, try not
It's
to.
coming up, you know.
They're trying to figure out 26. But I think it's interesting you asked that because, like, as a player, I felt like I overwhelmed myself sometimes with the pressure of like where I wanted to be as an athlete. And so when it came to reffing, I told myself I wasn't going to do that. And I was just going to take in every single opportunity, be grateful for every game. And so every game when we do the walkout, I make sure to just like really take it all in, whether it's a college game, whether it's a rec game, it doesn't really matter. So like, honestly, I'm just like enjoying the ride. Like this is a dream just to like get to do the games I'm doing now. So.
And like, can you like walk us through like the preparation of a referee before a game or something?
Yeah. So for your professional games, you have a certain amount of time that you have to be there before the game. So you get to your game about 2 hours early. You walk the fields, you make sure everything's right. Depending on the league, sometimes the fields actually aren't that great.
Yeah.
So you have to like fill holes in the grass, whatever. We're actually pretty spoiled here in the United States, I think. Like they expect the fields to be just exactly like quality. Check the nets, whatever. Then you kind of go in your locker room, you get in your headspace, you get set up. We go over a pregame, like we go over situations. Like if this happens, this is how I want it to be handled. This is what I expect from you as far as signals go. From basically the referee tells everybody what he expects out of the match, and then as an AR, as a fourth, you talk about things you may do differently or say into the comments differently.
But like, does every center ref has their own expectations for something?
Yeah, pretty much, because like you are used to hearing certain things either communication wise from your AR, and that comes from just experience. Like the center referees, they have a whole different perspective in the center, so sometimes they want you to tell them different cues or different information. Like for instance, like the pass back, sometimes if you're checked out, you don't expect in a professional game to have to call that, but it happens. So like just like making sure you say like pass back or like certain things like that, so like when someone picks it up, like, okay, that's not supposed to happen, and then you're ready to make decisions like that, and you don't have to like think about it or what to do when a coach is inflamed, how you want your fourth official to handle it before you're going over there and issuing a card. Like it takes a lot of trust too, because if let's say you're on the field and your fourth official's like, I need a red card for this coach, like, and you don't even know what happens, like, are you just gonna go over there and trust him? So it's a lot of communication and trust in that aspect. And then you go out there and you tell the players to be ready, and sometimes they're like kids and you got to be like, yo, let's go, it's time, we're walking out, like y'all are the show, and they're like not ready and they're putting on the shin guards, and like it's funny how many pro teams go out there without their shin guards, their socks on and stuff like that. Yes, all the time. So that's like a big point of emphasis. And then you do your little walkout. It's game time. Yeah.
Awesome. I think.
And what about halftime?
Halftime, man, if you have a good half, you're in there just feeling good. If you have a pretty bad half, it's pretty quiet in the locker room.
What does a bad half look like?
It's interesting because, like, from an outside perspective, it may not even look that bad. But when you have communication in the comms, sometimes it may not be where you expect it to be, or there's little things that you're not as sharp on, like substitutions, things like that. Yeah, so you kind of go and regroup and talk about it and make it different and better. Had people argue at halftime about how they
This is my next one. I know which ref I would rather prefer to be refereed by, and I don't know if this is how y'all are trained, but I would rather have the ref who were to make a bad call and actually acknowledge it in real time and be like, look, this is the right one, instead of the ref who's like, this is the call, we're going with it, even if it could have potentially been wrong.
Yeah.
Because I know you said earlier, like, you stand on that hill and but then you open up the door to like.
But that causes conflicts, no?
I agree. I mean, I'm more of like, I've definitely like. Right. Yeah. I think it almost like.
Yeah. But it also boils down to you would have gotten the call correct.
Right. I think it kind of honestly like will give you less credit sometimes if you try to stand on a wrong decision than if you just tell the coach, yeah, you're right, I messed that up. I think sometimes they can have to do that before, and they're like, okay, respect it, because then they at least know you have the whereabouts that
That's
like
after the game, though.
full time. Like, oh yeah, that's it full time.
I mean, that's a really tricky one. That is a really tricky one.
Yeah,
Because what if every single one of the players is aware that the call was wrong?
right.
Are you still gonna rock with it then?
Yeah, it's not like big calls, but like, let's say you just like,
I feel like I feel like it should be handled in.
I
Which
mean,
would be after the game.
yeah. You're not gonna just like, you're not gonna bury yourself, but
If I was a ref, I feel like that would cause the game to.
You'd lose control. That's where you would lose control of the game then, and your credibility goes out the window.
Yeah, when you
well, I think you kind of like as a referee, like you have that interaction with the captains too. So usually, like if you make a really bad decision that's blatant, the whole team's not going to come yelling at you. Usually, the captain's going to come to you, and you can have that private conversation in passing. Like, yeah, I messed that up. Like, all right, man. You know, usually, like if you have that rapport, they're a lot more understanding. But that's the kind of the art of the center referee is in making those relationships throughout the game. Sometimes you need them.
You know, this is like the first time really sat down. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's very interesting. Like, what do you think is the hardest thing as a ref? The toughest thing of being a ref or even becoming a ref? Like,
I think it's like the pressure that we put on ourselves because as a player, how many touches do you think you take a game?
Me?
Yeah,
personally?
as a player. Lots.
I'm kidding.
Right? No, usually you take a lot of touches. They're not always perfect, but
I probably take too many.
We'll say if you take 200 touches a game and you mess up 4, you know, you had
a pretty good game.
Pretty decent game, and you get to recover. If you're a referee, you literally, all it takes is one.
It takes one
mistake,
correct context,
one offside, and you know, like these defenders are really good at the higher level. They're really good at calling out offside. So to them, it's like it's obvious. I know what I'm doing, but for you, it's like the game's moving so fast, so you're gonna get your butt chewed either way. Like,
and is there any time you make a call, but you feel bad that you had to make that call?
Yeah, because I'll be so invested in the game. So it's like, come on. All you had to do was hold your line. Like,
and now I have to give your team the other team a penalty.
Yeah, stuff like that for sure. It's like, but you know, you can't be biased. So
this is my next one. How fit do referees actually have to be? Because I think it's underappreciated how much running you guys actually get through, because it's probably just as much as certain positions.
I think the difference in reffing is like, you know, with playing, it becomes so natural. Like you rehearse the same thing over and over again. You don't have to use so much brain power to do it. As a ref, like you're reacting to the game. So not only do you have to be as fit as the players, like to call offsides, you have to run as fast as the other team is doing. So, but then at the same time, you have to think.
Are there like prerequisite fitness requirements to be a professional referee? Like, do you have to get a certain score in the beep test, or
kind of like a beep test? I still have like PTSD that's just never going to leave from that dang beep test. So
that's crazy.
We have several different levels of testing. So even the guys that you see on your rec games, they have to pass a fitness test. So you know, it increases as you get to that higher level, but and it's different for the referee versus the AR. So you have several different tests that you have to pass in order to meet the standard for the game, basically.
So, is it true that in the United States there is a decline on refs?
Yes.
So, if you had to encourage somebody else to be a ref, what would you tell them?
I wouldn't even talk to the refs. I'd talk to the coaches. Like, coaches, y'all are the reason there's a decline. And parents, y'all are the reason there's a decline.
Let's just say coaches, not me.
Not Cruz Coaching. But I know for me as like a female, there's been so many games I've gone into where I've actually like had to fear for my safety.
Really?
That's not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool.
You have young kids going out there, and like I said, like on the professional level, you have security, and it's almost crazy that like I feel more comfortable going to professional games than I do going to any of the club games in Texas, because people will follow you to your car. I've had people find my social media page and harass me.
That-
It's like
Just stop that.
you just won't let it go over the
I never
recreational
thought
game.
to do that. To look up a ref on the internet.
Yeah,
I'm never.
That's a lot of energy to
it's a lot, but people really like take it
To heart.
harsh, take it to harsh, like take it personally.
That's kind of interesting because as players, we know during the game it's intense at times, right? So you do be upset and everything, but I think we all know that after the game, it's done.
Mhm.
It's all
the
cool
parents.
now.
The parents don't.
It's
Yeah.
might be different.
Right.
Parents, they internalize it. They're like, gotta go out.
Oh,
to this
yeah.
ref.
Yeah, the parents, and it's the worst when like the coaches enable the parents. If the coaches allow the parents to get that inflamed, then it's like you don't really have any help. You've got to go run to your administrative, or you got to wait, to go to your car. And my car has my license plate on it, so that doesn't help. I need to change that. But people will stalk you like it's crazy. They'll follow you out to the parking lot.
know-
That's crazy.
You know how hard it is as a young coach, especially? Like, I was 22,
Mhm.
and I'm screaming at this, like, 40-year-old man. And I've seen that happen with, like, young refs. Like, I'm talking, like,
like teenage.
15,
That should not be
14 years
happening.
old,
That should not be
screaming at
happening. A grown man.
a grown man out. Like,
Right.
the logic behind that individual cannot control their
Lack of logic.
emotions.
I think too is like you don't consider too like as an adult now there's a lot of things I've learned in a professional environment that you learn in like the corporate world and how to manage people that you just don't have those skills as a kid. Like 18 you're still basically a kid.
Yeah.
So like that's the first time you're in a situation with inflamed people and it's like how do you conduct yourself professionally? How do you say the right things to diffuse that? That's not always the easiest situation for young referees. So they tend to just get intimidated and quit.
But like, I think I don't know if this is controversial too, but do you think? I remember back in the day, referees were making like 25. Is that still the same, or is it more now?
It depends on the game. Yeah,
Depends
you
on the
can make. I mean, as like a youth referee, you can make up to 100
In
a
like,
little over a game.
in
That's
one
not
game.
bad.
In one game.
One game.
That's good money.
Yeah,
Can you make a living being a professional referee? Can you make a good living?
that's debatable. So it depends on what you consider a good living. There are people who aren't professional referees who are just like local referees who can make a living in like states like Texas or Florida where soccer's
Really pop it.
full.
Yeah.
Year round where you can make pretty good money. So
I do feel like a lot of them kind of do it as a hobby.
yeah, I think for me, when I first got out of college, I was coaching and reffing full time. I couldn't do it like that because mentally I would show up to work in such an angry mood from doing the games on the weekend. So I think if you can block out all the noise, then you can handle that. But it is a very stressful job.
So are there games where you get nervous and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now I don't get like as nervous because like I said, my mindset is different and like
She is just.
I just- I'm just-
He's just on autopilot. He's just on autopilot right now.
honestly though, but it starts to become kind of inane. You're like, what's the worst that can happen? You just get fired. It's just off on TV. That's it. So I think like once you like made your big mistake in 4K on
There's no
TV,
going back.
yeah, it's like
There's no
okay, what
going
can you
back.
do to me now? So now I just now I just enjoy it. But
That's funny.
definitely like you still get like the nerves, which I think that's good because it means you care about what you're doing. So I kind of enjoy getting nervous sometimes.
Like, so do you think anything in the youth game with parents and all that, would it ever change? It's tough to say. I don't think it would.
You think no?
I don't understand. It comes from the love of their kid. It comes from because they love their kid and they want to see their kid do well.
Look, I'm just saying, sometimes I understand parents' point of view. That doesn't excuse the behavior.
I agree.
That doesn't excuse behavior. But if I'm paying $3,000 to $5,000 a year, I want to see my kids go on
I was thinking, like,
But that's why I think the structure of it all needs to change.
the parents listening to a conversation like this would enlighten them tenfold.
Yeah.
Well, and I love to tell parents, like, if you have a problem with it, then go be a referee.
You know yourself.
Because, like, when I coached, I told my parents if they yelled at the referee on the sideline, I was giving them a whistle, save the club money, and you guys were going to ref our games and see how it is. And my funny story, my ex-boyfriend, he would play adult league. He was one of the worst, like, obnoxious dudes out there.
Yeah,
And I gave him a whistle, and my little 8-year-old girls ate him up. Like, he was running around, like, sweating. I'm like, yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, you know, trying to do it all at once. And so I think people need to put themselves in that situation.
Well, be interesting if parents were able to take a ride along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She have that experience, a referee feels and feel everything.
Yeah.
Feeling in the moment.
Yeah, because, like,
Making decisions.
like, when I was coaching, it was like I didn't agree with every call the referees made, but I understood why they got the decision wrong. Because I'm like, I remember being your age and screwing that up too. Like, it's just a different mindset when you're out there. You think you know everything, but it's a lot harder than it seems. You have a lot of things to pay attention to, a lot of things to manage, and a lot of pressure and a lot of stuff going on in your head. So where you think from the outside perspective and there's no pressure, like, how do you miss that?
Right.
It's a lot different when you're in there.
This was
Oh, good one. Yeah.
conversation that you came. Is there any last sound like the dead man. But are there any things that you want to say to end the podcast to promote anything that you want to promote at all?
I guess I would just say to parents, you know, like, most people become referees because they love the game. You know, so all of them are out there on their own time. They usually work long hours, your multiple games back to back to back. And just remember they're out there because they love the game.
Give the referee some love,
So-
parents.
Yeah,
Give them some love.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Keep
a good
them
point.
around,
Keep them around. Keep them in business. Yeah.
you know.
That was the Cruz Coaching Podcast. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
They-
Another one in the
Wait,
bang.
look up that goal kick rule. I'm scared I fucked that.
That one was 40 minutes.